Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to help you make the most of your summer with Michelob Ultra, a superior light beer worth playing for. Play for it with the guys when you're competing to see who can sink more birdies on the golf course, because winning tastes even better with Ultra on the line. Play for Ultra. Fill your fridge with Michelob Ultra this summer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
We may live over 5,000 miles from Lincoln Financial Field, but what we lack in proximity, we make up for in film study. And each and every week, we'll be bringing you in-depth film breakdowns from across the pond and the Sooner State. Welcome to On the Shane page. I am your host, Shane Haff. You can follow me on Twitter at ShaneHaffNFL, and I'm joined by BGN's own film guru, Jonny Page. Give him a follow on Twitter at JohnnyPage9. Jonny, how are you doing this evening?
I'm good. I think last week we started by saying we were like the worst, best 3-0 team ever. Are we now the worst 4-0 team ever? I love the amount of things I see about our offense, like most 3-and-outs, outscored by like outgained, etc. And yet we are 4-0, Shane. So yeah, this is a really weird team to analyze. It's probably great for us as people who cover the team because no one has any idea what to think. We've always been process over results, as I think most film guys are, but I think some people can get too processy over results. At the end of the day, the Eagles are winning, so we should all be very happy because we're 4-0, but it doesn't feel very happy online. Like, I had a comment on my Bleeding Green article, a very nice comment, like perfectly well laid out, just saying it's sort of mental that the tone of this article is quite negative when we're 4-0. And I was like, and he replied saying, yeah, and I was like, to be fair, we had 200 yards on 58 plays at 3.4 yards per play with 7 punts. Like, I can only watch what I can watch. And it's very hard to speak particularly positively about the offense. But, God, I started ranting already. I didn't even ask the like nice introduction of how you are. I just straight went in moaning about the offense. But yes, I am good. The grind is real. For anyone that covers the NFL know this is about the time when you forget how busy you are. But yeah, I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Super busy at the day job right now as well. So sneaking out for an extended lunch break to record this and then back to it.
Dedication.
But it's all good fun. I also want to shout out our Patreon. We have rebranded the Patreon since last week. So nothing changed except the name and the logo. But if you enjoy our content here, this is scratching the surface of everything we do on Patreon, and that is found now at patreon.com/EaglesFilmRoom. Eric put out over an hour-long player spotlight video on Keely Ringo, breaking down every snap he played. I've got my past game review up. Jonny is going to be working on a preview for next week, and there's so much great content on the Patreon. The Discord is awesome. We've had lots of conversations in there, so if you're looking for a way to support our work, get more content like this, we have a $3, $5, and $7 a month tier with various benefits, and you can get a free 1-week trial of any of them. So come hang out with us. And this podcast is just kind of scratching the surface of a lot more things we really talk about over in the Discord and on the Patreon.
Yeah, I'm going to tweet this actually, but for those that are listening and those that do, I was going to tweet these numbers, but we obviously offer a free trial that people could use. We've had a 94%, I think, the last month conversion rate between people joining for free and then sticking around, which is amazing. So I think it's awesome, and I'm biased because obviously I am a third of the Patreon, but even the stuff that I'm not on, like Eric's stuff, your stuff, the past game review, the player spotlight is wicked. So I think the preview stuff's going to get better as we get used to it. I think the player spotlight always has been good. Like, yeah, seriously, come and join if you can, because you are right. This is only an hour show, so we are scratching the surface. But shall we just do the depressing stuff first again?
Shall we
scratch the surface of the offense, Shane?
Oh, man. I'm so tired of talking about this offense already. Let me lead us off here with my first point, and I'm going to do something abnormal here. I'm going to rant for a little while before I show the film clips that go with it. So first of all, I charted out a bunch of stuff. I tweeted it out earlier today, but a few things I want to hit on in terms of predictability. First of all, The Eagles' offense is predictable because there's a significant indicator of run or pass based off of the quarterback alignment. So I talked about this after week 2. It still exists. When the Eagles are in pistol, they only call a pass play 21% of the time. From under center, they call a pass play 20% of the time. And that's if we're calling the Dallas Goedert thing touchdown a pass, which it was kind of close. And then from shotgun, they're passing 72% of the time. And so overall, their pass rate is 58.5%, and they're not even close to their average from any QB alignment. So the first thing is, you're really predictable what you're going to do based on QB alignment. Secondly, the routes that they run are predictable, and I'll show that. I've got several examples of the Bucs just knowing exactly what the Eagles were doing and running the routes for receivers. But when you do pass, it's predictable based on alignment. And then this is out of the realm of predictability a little bit, but third, I broke down the Eagles' EPA per attempt, success rate, and total attempts rushing the ball by running backs, broken down by personnel and scheme. So it throws out tush pushes, it throws out QB design runs and scrambles, just looking at called run plays for the running back. Basically, they should throw 13 personnel in the garbage and literally never call a play from it again because they lose over a half a point every time they call a run play from 13 personnel, negative 0.56 EPA. Then you look at 11 and 12 personnel. They are much better when they run a gap scheme from 11 and 12 personnel, positive EPA, 57% success rate running gap scheme from 11 personnel, but they just run it very infrequently. Only 15% of their overall runs are gap scheme out of 11 and 12 personnel. And that photo where I screenshotted it is up on my Twitter, and you can go check that out if you want to. So the run game needs to be designed better. The pass game needs to be designed better. I don't have a graphic for this one that I put out on Twitter, but I went and looked at the Eagles' passing attack. When you remove passes over 20 air yards and you remove slant routes, the Eagles' offense ranks 23 in EPA per pass attempt, 27th in success rate, and 32nd in boom rate, which is the percentage of plays that generate more than 1 EPA. If you include those 20% passes, everything stays the same except the success rate goes from 27th to 25th. So basically the only thing that works in the pass game right now is throwing slant routes when teams blitz. And teams are going to stop blitzing, which sounds wild to say after 2023 when we were like, teams only blitz us. They're going to stop blitzing now. And then, by the way, the offensive line, here's some rankings of theirs. They are 25th in yards per contact, or yards before contact per carry, 27th in run stuff rate, 22nd in run block win rate, 24th in pressure rate allowed, and 26th in pass block win rate. If you remove Saquon Barkley's fake tush push touchdown in this game, he had 18 carries for -5 yards before contact. Like, that's insane. The Eagles lead the league in 3-and-out percentage. The only 3 teams even close to them are the Vikings and Bengals, who are playing backup quarterbacks, and the Titans, who won 3 games last year and are playing a rookie quarterback. So it all stinks. The pass game is predictable, both by QB alignment, formation, and routes you're running. The run game is calling the worst possible run scheme at all times. And the offensive line just isn't very good right now. And so I'll dive into it and show a few examples of what I was talking about with the predictability, because we are a film show, so I'll throw this up here. But let's look at a few of these plays, and I'll be more positive after this. But I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. I'm going to tell you what's going on. So this play, the Eagles are condensed, and the Bucs show man coverage. Jonny, what are the Eagles going to run if you show them man coverage while they're in a condensed set?
Sorry, I was too busy staring at something else I was going to bring up, actually.
Oh.
That was bad by me. I was getting a lovely quote. I was getting a lovely quote to read out, Shane, that sums this up perfectly.
You're good. Let me ask again. Condensed set, defense is showing man coverage. What pass concept are the Eagles going to run?
Oh, it's either going to be crash, or they might run a couple of goes and they'll half jog it. What one do they run here? What play is this? Second quarter, second and 3.
This is mesh.
Or mesh cross. But it's man coverage, Shane. That they like running mesh against zone. Running against man would be sensible. That's why you've confused me, because they prefer mesh against zone these days. They like mesh crosser, where no one's free ever. And we sound like Kurt Warner, because Kurt Warner hates mesh more than anyone on the planet.
So watch the Eagles, or watch the Bucs. This is man coverage, but watch how they play the mesh in the middle of the field, because they know it's coming. We're just fully switching this off from the beginning, because we know beyond the shadow of a doubt this is going to be mesh. Now, Hurts is able to scramble. You can't live like that, but you're just predictable. Now let me ask you another one, Johnny. We go 2x2, and we've got Devontae Smith in the slot.
Or it's going to be mesh again, or it's going to be crash. What one's this one?
Oh, this is going to be a slot out to Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
And just watch this guy, this slot corner, just run this route for Devontae Smith. Just knows it's coming.
Shane, just really quickly, go back as well. Just watch AJ Brown run a really, really, really high effort go route. It's all over the film, man. Not just from him. I'm not picking on him. It's not AJ. It's not as much AJ as people think. It's everyone.
Yeah. Now we're gonna motion from 3x1 into 2x2, which means that we're not even looking at this motion route, because we don't do that, but we are going to throw a slot route to the bottom of the screen, a slot out again, and look how we're just sitting on this, because we know. No chance. And then let's keep going. This one's my favorite. The Eagles are going to run dagger here. And I just want you to watch how this corner, who has no help over the top, plays A.J. Brown. He lets A.J. Brown get on top of him. And he just gets underneath and waits on this route to break in, because he knows this is going to be dagger. They're going to throw a dig. And so there's multiple instances in this game of the Buccaneers just running the routes for the Eagles, because it is entirely predictable exactly what they're going to do based on formation, wide receiver alignment, and down and distance.
Yeah, the quote I was trying to find was there's an unbelievably good read today from Ollie Connolly, my favourite writer on the planet. Nothing to do with Eagles. It was actually about the Falcons offense. And he gives a lovely little plug at the start as well, when he casually says that Zach Robinson is a subscriber. So hi, Zach. That's got to be cool when you're writing a piece about a coach that you know subscribes to your own Substack.
That's crazy.
But I want to read. It's cool, isn't it? He writes, and the reason why I like him is not because he's probably the smartest guy I know, but because he writes as well as anyone. So I'm going to cheat, and I'm just going to read his quote, because this is not about the Eagles offense, all right? This is not about the Eagles offense, but he writes so well. And when I read it, it clicked with me. I was reading this from a Falcons point of view, but there were so many things that I could apply to the Eagles. And this is what he said. He said, great offenses give you that feeling of a ball rolling down a hill. They gather pace as they go. Everything is tied together. Plays a sequence, there's a rhythm. They stack play upon play, leaving you chasing ghosts. And then he says, so far the Falcons are at their best in a 2-minute drill. That's when the rhythm arrives, because it's forced to. For the most part, they've been staccato. Plays pop here and there, but that's thanks to the individual talent of players rather than the design. And he's talking about Zach Robinson being wedded to an ideology that's not working with the Falcons right now. And I didn't listen, I read, and I thought, that's the Eagles. It's not plays being stacked upon play. It's uneven. He described it as a dunk and a 3-point side. That's what we are. We're staccato. We are individual talent of players rather than design. It's not an efficient offense. The run game doesn't match the pass game. They're running so much zone, right? A lot of outside zone this year. So you think, oh, they must be running a bunch of play action bootleg. Nope, they're not doing that. So why are they running outside? And the run game is the thing that perplexes more than anything. And I'm struggling, Shane, to be honest, this week's pod. I'll be fully honest with the listeners, because I don't know how much to say that I've said before. I don't really know how much we can repeat. I don't know what the answer is. As you've said, it's fundamentally obvious that coaches know a hell of a lot, and they know a hell of a lot more than us. But it's also very obvious, based on basically every bit of data, they are not very good on offense. They lead the league in 3 and outs, for Christ's sake. It is not a good offense. And there are so many reasons why. I don't think it's individuals. I don't think it's Hurts. I don't think it's AJ Brown. I think there is so many things that go into it. Yet they're 18-0 in Jalen Hurts' last 18 starts. You can tell me the defense is great, and that's fine. It's really hard to win in the NFL. Winning 18 on the trot as a starting QB, I feel like is almost impossible. How many teams have done that over history? I can't imagine many in the past 10, 15 years. It is really, really depressing and really odd. But the way I would describe it is basically like Ollie does. There's no rhythm to the offense. There's no flow. They don't know what they want to be. They haven't decided what their identity is. If I ask you, Shane, are the Eagles a run-first or a pass-first offense? What would you tell me?
I have no idea.
Yeah, last year they were a run-first offense. Whatever you want to say, the passing game was built off the run game. They were an RPO, run the ball, very shotgun heavy, so you can throw quick backside slants, bubbles, screens, etc. When they go single high, you chuck it deep, you chuck it vertical. But I still maintain, and people get annoyed when I say this, I think the running game is a bigger problem than the passing game. And my theory is the Eagles' pass game can be incredibly simplistic, because when you see single high, they will throw. The Eagles are not getting single high man coverage this year because teams are stopping the run from a too high shell. And teams are just playing a ton of zone. And I still think we should be a run-first offense. And I think if you run the ball really, really well, I think you will make play action easier. I think you can then start tying your run game to your pass game. I personally think this Eagles team is built to be a run-first offense. The problem is the offensive line is playing bad, but to defend the offensive line, they're not running many interesting run concepts either. Teams know what they're running as well in the run game, so it's hard for an offensive lineman when you're under center and it's obvious they're running inside zone or outside zone. Yes, the offensive linemen don't look good, but if we're talking about a quarterback, we say the scheme can make a quarterback look bad. With offensive line, we just assume that they're offensive linemen. Therefore, it's nothing to do with the scheme, and that's nonsense. It could be the angles you're taking. It could be that the player is a split second quicker off the ball because he knows what you're running. It could be that your alignment means that the box is really condensed, which means that you can't really get a clean run at the second level. Like, there are so many things. I still maintain we're a run-first offense first, but they don't play like it. We're probably going to spend like the whole time on offense talking about this one thing, but I sort of promise the other ones don't matter very much because I could do my other points in like 3 minutes. This is almost just like the rant at the start, but I'm fed up because it's boring at times watching us on offense. And what I'm really fed up about is that the team is so talented. We're not the Panthers. We're not trying to make like a top 16 offense out of top 25 talent. We are extremely talented. AJ Brown is obviously not playing very well. He looks fed up to me. Devontae Smith's awesome. The funny thing is I think Jalen Hurts is having his best year, which is bizarre because the numbers are awful. They were just so... And someone commented saying about Patullo had some nice wrinkles. He did. There is some stuff they do. I think, basically, what Ollie said about talent wins out, to me, I bet there's a really smart young coach planning stuff in the red zone. And they almost feel like they've said to him, be creative. We're in the red zone now. Do something radical. Do something random. But when we're 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line on our own 30 or whatever, we've got to keep it safe now. Because we know that no turnovers means we win. And they've been proven true. Brett Eclipse has just asked a really good question about the run game. So I'll do my first point, Shane, just really quickly now. And I'm going to be very quick. The first thing is it's blocked. What do you want me to say? It's blocked terribly. The tight ends can't block. They consistently use tight ends who can't block. They consistently use condensed formations, and they have no space to run. I do not give Saquon Barkley, Shane, a percentage of blame. I genuinely don't. No. I can only say what I see on film. I don't even think it's like 2% him. I think he has absolutely nothing to do with him.
He slipped a few times in this game, which happens.
Yeah, poor Phil.
He had some explosive cuts in this game. He is not moving worse than last
completely
year.
Fine. So you've got some of the numbers on this. They run better from 11 personnel, but they don't run as often from 11 personnel as they should. They run really poorly from like 13 personnel, and they keep doing it, and they're terrible from under center. Basically, to answer Brett Eclipse, the fun run game stuff is gone. You have not seen a single snap of tackle trap this year, or whatever the Eagles called it. I should know. I used to say, what do the Eagles call tackle trap? It's going to annoy me. They used to run it all the time last year. I'll find out what it's called because it would annoy me if I can't think about it. You don't see any trap. You don't see any wham. You don't see barely any counter. We saw a little bit this year. You don't see any QB counter bash in the slightest. The run game is really basic. Their alignments are basic. Their angles are really tough to block. They're trying to use like funky motions from tight ends to come across the formation. They did it again in this game with Grant Calcaterra. He did the same as Darius Cooper last week where he runs across the field and then tries to get back up and it doesn't work. Just show play 2 really quickly, Shane, on my film thread. I just watched this play and I was like, oh, yeah, the Eagles can still run counter. This is GT counter. Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata look great. And I was like, why are we not seeing more gap scheme. And obviously the coaches know more than me. So I don't know. But that is the best the best run blocked play of the game by a distance to me. And it's gap scheme. And guess what, Shane? AJ Dillon, 3 carries in this game. Guess what every single one was?
Gap scheme.
Gap scheme, every single one was counter. I'm hardly saying he was great, but 3 carries, 17 yards. Over 5 yards a carry. Compared to Saquon Barkley, who was, I think, once again around 2.3 yards per carry. So I don't understand the offense. I don't really understand the run game. I think we can sit here and say they're being conservative, they're being passive. That impacts the passing game. But, I mean, you haven't got to worry about throwing interceptions on the run game. Just run some different stuff. I'm a little bit at a loss because Stoutland calls it, and it's just not the running game that we saw last year. And people can moan about the pass game, and you've already done a good job moaning about it. I will probably maintain until Jalen Hurts isn't the Eagles quarterback anymore that they're a run-first offense, because I think that's how they've been built since he's been their quarterback. And if you can't run the ball, there are so many easy buttons that you can't press on offense. I really don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say.
Well, let me go to my second point then. And I'm going to acknowledge something up front, and that's that my second point is about John Metchie, a guy who only played 5 offensive snaps.
Some creativity.
I'm trying to just have a point that isn't complaining about the offense. And
my red zone point though, Shane? Does it not feel like it's almost like, we need to do something creative with Metchie, so therefore we'll come up with something creative. But when it's just standard 12 personnel, it's like, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We don't need anything creative because we're too good. It's almost like red zone, Metchie, AJ Dillon. It's like, these guys aren't the superstar, so let's do something interesting. It's just weird, isn't it? It's weird.
Yeah. Don't rain on the parade of my non-negative point.
Sorry.
Yeah, he only played 5 snaps, but I wanted to do something I haven't just said over and over and that wasn't complaining. And so 3 of his 5 snaps, he aligned in the backfield of pistol. And so maybe they'll build something out of this. 2 of the snaps, this first one, he blocks through the C gap, which is something I talked about with Puka Nacua last week. He goes through the C gap and blocks. He does it on the 3rd snap as well. So maybe you can set up something where he's going through the C gap on play action and he runs a route. I don't know. And then they brought back this RPO scrape play, and it's going to be Metchie coming out to the flat. And, they're reading. I broke this one down on my pass game review, but they're going to read the defensive end here. If he comes underneath Metchie, then you're going to pull the ball and you can throw it to Metchie in the flat. If he goes around Metchie, you're going to hand the ball off, right? And I like this. This is a cool play. If you watch Devontae Smith, the problem here is he just halfway jogs out his route, so doesn't take his guy vertically and gets Metchie obliterated, which is the whole effort thing again. It's not just Devontae Smith, but so they use him on this slide route here on the RPO. And then on another snap in the game, they go pistol again. He's aligned in the backfield, and he's going to release through the C gap and block. And this run doesn't go anywhere because Landon Dickerson whiffs. It's not Metchie. It was Dickerson that whiffed there. But I don't know. Thought it was interesting. 5 snaps, 3 of them he's in the backfield and pistol, releasing through the C gap, which I like. That RPO scrape that I like. Maybe they'll build something out of that. I don't know. It was
cool. It was cool.
It's something good. I hadn't seen, and I wanted to talk about something I hadn't seen.
And Shane, do you know why the pass was so open? Because it was tied to a successful run. Mm-hmm. One of Saquon's only successful runs of the game was Metchie in the backfield. So what did the defense do? They saw Metchie in the backfield. What did they think? Could be a run. You sneak him out into the flat. It's where I keep going back to the run game, because that's where you can build sequencing. That's where you can I just think you could do so much with your pass game off of your run game. That doesn't mean it has to be your only way you do things. I can't believe we've stopped just running RPO slants to AJ Brown. That's really weird as well. Just but anyway, I'm going to stop moaning because
we have a comment here
forever.
Have a comment here from Caleb that says they're 4-0 and trying stuff. They're good to the point they're pretty much experimenting. They're not.
Yeah, I don't.
They're not experimenting. They're running inside zone and they're running 3 passing concepts on repeat. That's not working. Yeah. Experimenting would be trying to add new things into the offense, trying to attack the middle of the field more, trying a more fleshed out passing attack. That they're not experimenting. It looks like a preseason game. The offense looks like a preseason football where we run inside zone and 3 pass concepts. So
yeah, I'll be honest. No disrespect, Taylor, but it feels like the opposite of experimenting. I'd like some experimenting. It feels like incredibly conservative. And the thing is, I don't want to keep talking about this, Shane. They think if they don't turn the ball over, they will win, and they are correct. I sound really negative on this from a design point of view. The Eagles are 4-0, and I think they know what they're doing. I think Sirianni might be a master at winning football games. Scheme nerds hate it. QB ranking guys hate it. Offense guys hate it. But I think it is not a fluke, the amount of games they win. All right, they blocked a field goal with Jordan Davis. They should be 3-1. That is a bit fluky to an extent. But I don't know how sustainable.
To punt for a touchdown in this game, and they got a tipped interception in the end zone and won by a touchdown.
It feels like it's a little bit unsustainable. Let's talk about some good things very quickly, because we need to get onto the defense, because I'll be honest, we could just repeat half of the stuff from last week, couldn't we? We've said this before. So let's talk about Jalen Hurts versus the blitz. I'm not going to go into great detail because, once again, this is a theme we've seen this year, but you were bang on. I think Todd, what's his name? The Bucs coach, Todd Bowles, basically openly admitted this as well, that they stopped blitzing and they had success. And some of their players came out and said the same thing. They realized that blitzing wasn't work. So just play one on my film thread. On the first drive, the Bucs sent multiple blitzes at Hurts, and basically every single time, Hurts handled it easily. And I think it's just worth remembering, just go back in time a bit. I remember watching Jalen Hurts versus the Bucs a few years ago in the playoffs, as many of you do, and it was absolutely brutal. He could not handle the blitz in the slightest, and you can blame the coaches. The scheme was poor. Remember, they were down 31-0 or whatever in the playoffs in that year. They couldn't handle the blitz in the slightest. And Todd Bowles came out and thought, same Jalen Hurts, let's go, let's blitz him. And they had nothing. Sorry, Shad, I actually didn't tweet as many clips. If you go back to play one, just really quickly, the one thing I wanted to say was, this is multiple weeks we've seen this now, a free rusher, and just watch how calm Hurts is in the pocket. That play looks really easy, right? And I think it's easy for us as fans to sit there and go, it's a slant against pressure, but look how calm he is with a linebacker running directly at him. That is a level of maturity that we have not seen from Hurts in previous years. So that is a major, major positive. I think their play against the blitz, in a weird way, you were right. I want more teams to blitz us now. Yeah, I just don't want anyone to play split safety zone coverage. By the way, do you know what's really funny, Shane, is genuinely, I think next week, if the Eagles' next 3 opponents play loads of single high man coverage, I think the passing game will be fixed. And everyone will go, oh my God, they fixed it. And I just think they won't have. I think that basically, I'd love to play. It'd be great if we played the Browns now, because the Browns have got the best defense in the league, arguably, but they also play Jim Schwartz style. And I think the Eagles might have a lot of success against them, because they can beat that. They can win by throwing vertical balls to AJ Brown. But if you just play zone coverage and rush 4, they don't run any great zone beating concepts. So it's really, really hard for them to succeed. But there we go. We need to get through these points, Shane, because the defense deserves more of our love. So get through your last one quickly, and I'm going to get through mine quickly, because I want to give the defense some pop. This offense doesn't deserve half the podcast.
Yeah. The offense in this game just had really poor timing of when to push the ball downfield. And so if we watch this play, I'm just going to go through 4 different plays here. The Eagles are going to run. They've got a tight end coming on a drag route and AJ Brown on a vertical route, and those are the only 2 routes. And so just watch the safety. There is no other vertical route, and so he gets over the top of AJ Brown. And AJ Brown stops running. I think he thinks we're going back shoulder. If we throw this, it's got to be back shoulder because there's a safety over the top. But Hurts tries to throw it upfield. Just look at Goddard. Goddard might run for 10 years, right? There's nobody there. But we take the shot that's just not there. And I mean, you can say like, well, Brown stopped running. Well, Brown thinks it's going back shoulder because he knows, like, look where this pass lands.
Yeah.
This safety is going to lay him out if he keeps running upfield for this. And so it's not that they don't take shots. It's that we take them at weird times. So now look at this one. You've got A.J. Brown at the bottom of the screen. You've got a safety on the opposite hash. Watch this safety because we actually run other vertical threats here, sort of. I mean, it's curls, but Hurts is looking at this, and he comes off of it. This is when you throw the ball to A.J. Brown. We're one-on-one in the end zone, and we don't throw that one. We come off of it. Now, we hit a scramble drill play, and that's nice. Scramble drill is something we've talked about before. But so we've seen a throw to Brown vertical when you shouldn't. We've seen a turn down when you should have taken it. Now let's look at this one. They motion Saquon. And so, again, you've got A.J. Brown one-on-one with one-on-one with a backup rookie cornerback, safety on the opposite hash, and they just have him just, like, run here and turn around so we can throw this little whirly bird route to Saquon. Like, how are we not running a post route, a vertical route, a back shoulder to the pylon? Like, this is what you want for A.J. Brown. And we throw that? It just doesn't make any sense, right?
Shane, can you just ignore A.J. Brown on that play for a second and watch the other three receivers each run their routes individually? For the viewers that are watching, watch Dallas Goedert run an out. When I say they know they're not getting the ball, they don't run hard. None of them do. I'm not even blaming them. Yes, it was really hot, so we can maybe blame. This is the worst play call I've seen in a long time, but just watch Goddard. Like, I'm not picking on the guy. At the end of the day, but I mean, like, firstly, it's covered incredibly easy. They're just not running plays hard. Like, I don't know what to say.
Like, how are you not just, like, running up the seam here, and then that holds the safety, and now we've got A.J. Brown one-on-one, and run a post, run a corner, run whatever the heck you want that's not a curl route. I don't get it. And then we'll go to the last one here. This is going to be another throw to A.J. Brown. It's going to be off of play action, right? We're going to get A.J. Brown vertical. We get the crossing route. A.J. Brown's double covered. The crosser's wide open, and we throw it to A.J. Brown. And so it's like, look at this. You don't get more open than this in the NFL. And you don't get much more covered than this either. And so it's like, when A.J. Brown is double covered, we will throw the ball to him. And when he has the best matchup in the world, we're not going to do it. And it just doesn't make sense to me. So it's not that they're not throwing it vertically. It's that every time they do, they shouldn't. And every time they shouldn't, they do.
Yeah, and for those that instantly want to blame Hurts on those, I go back to this, that if he's being coached or told when AJ's in that one-on-one to throw it, he's not really getting to his backside read there at all. And another thing I was also add is I think he may have been concussed in the second half. And I don't buy into conspiracy theories, but he was really bad, Hurts, and he's been really good all year. And the other thing, Shane, can I be honest? Go back to that last play of AJ. I know Breda Clips just commented that, would we say they're on Hurts? Yeah, they are Breda Clips. Anyone want to agree with me here? Maybe I'm talking nonsense. Is this a safe throw? Is this, do you know what? What's the score, Shane? 31-20. 2nd and 7. I could risk a throw into the middle of the field, or what have I been told every week by coaches, every game? Don't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over. To me, this is like a fake aggressive throw. It's like, we're aggressive. We're going down the field to A.J. Brown, but Hurts can throw a deep ball. He's got good accuracy. He's putting this as far, far to the sideline. It's almost like, well, he might catch it. But to me, just throwing the ball deep doesn't mean you're aggressive. Like, I think we can confuse the two sometimes. I actually think that's a bit of a conservative throw. And that maybe I'm wrong, and I might be looking at this too philosophically, but I think that's almost like a little bit of, let's throw it right near the sideline and either our guy gets it or it goes out of bounds. I'm going to finish us off, Shane, because we're trying to be quicker these days because we've got so much stuff on the Patreon, and then we're moaning about the offense for half an hour again. You don't really just show, you can show my plays if you want because you can run them in the background. I've got a couple of them tweeted. They're just the red zone plays. First one's play 3. I just think the Eagles in the red zone are unbelievable, and we've got to call out how good they are. I think they're 11 for 11 or something this year, aren't they, in red zone touchdowns?
Yeah.
Like, that is incredibly good, and it's almost absurd that the coaching staff can be this bad in between the 20s and so good in the red zone. So they had this one, which is just really cool. We're taking advantage of the Bucs stacking the box. They obviously ran the fake, fake tush push later on, which I'm shocked they don't do more. And they had another really cool play. Go to the, sorry, Shay, right up. My favourite one is the only one I want to sort of break down is the counter read one. You're way past it. It was way earlier. The one where they flick it to Dallas Goedert, play 6, I think. This is just a really good design. So the Eagles, pause it again. Let me get my high horse again. Guess what happens when you run counter? You can then, what did I say? Build some stuff off of running counter. So what happens when you run gap scheme is you pull 2 offensive linemen, but you can also run like they do here, GT count. No, sorry, this is not GT counter, is it? You can run a GH, whatever you want to call it, but it's the tight end and the guard pulling. But this time, they fake counter read. So counter read is obviously where Hurts has the option to hand it to Barkley or keep it himself. It's different to QB counter bash. For those of you wondering, it's because in bash, the running back runs away from the offensive lineman pulling, whereas here, he actually follows the offensive lineman pulling. So it's more just like standard counter read. But then you flip it to Dallas Goedert on the inside, and it's just really clever. And I just think these are the easy buttons that we're on about. The red zone play calling is so effective. It's not just a tush push. They're incredibly effective in this game in other ways. So it's not all negative. It's really not. There is some very good stuff, but it's just, as I go back to that Ollie Connolly tweet, it's random plays. We're a dunk and a 3-point side. We don't achieve anything in rhythm. Plays are not tied together. There's no sequencing. It's one-off. It's talent rather than scheme, and it needs to change. And we need to shut up and give this defense some love, because we should have started with a defense, Shane. They deserve a lot more of our time this week.
They do.
From the offense.
For what it's worth, I don't buy the Hurts concussion thing either. He got checked out, and maybe they just screwed that up, but I would imagine he's on an injury report this week, if that was the case. So maybe that'll come out, but I can't evaluate a game and just say, well, he must have been concussed. I don't know.
No, and neither can I. And I hate that conspiracy stuff. And by the way, I think maybe I'm going too strong there. Concussed doesn't mean concussed. It could be just shaken up. Just didn't feel right. You could have a hit. Players go for injuries all the time. Receivers, cornerbacks might be slower, and we expect quarterbacks to be machines. It looked like something happened. It's very unusual for him to complete 0 passes in a half. Let's put it that way. It's very unusual for any quarterback to do that, Shane, because they're not starting quarterbacks if they do that. Let's be real. So that's sort of bizarre.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac Extra Value Meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.